Oh, I feel quite exhausted after watching that because I am very, very easily scared. Are you?
Yeah.
Relatively easy to be scared. I'm more, if you plant a seed in my head about someone creeping around the corner or whatever, that can play with me. But I don't know. How about you?
I'm really jumpy. If someone jumps out, like it's really dramatic, like or, but not so much that way. If someone plants stuff in my head.
Well, that's good to know. Now we've got ammunition against each other. So
You're literally a TikTok video waiting to happen.
yeah, there's loads. I've got loads of people going. You shouldn't have done that.
I know what I'll be doing after lunch then. Yeah.
Sorry. In terms of ghosts, I love this idea. It sort of poses this question from the scenes we just saw. Are they real? Do they exist? And in what capacity do they exist if you believe they do? Has your opinion changed before you started reading the script and doing the show compared to now? Has it opened a door of possibility in your mind?
Yeah, I suppose open a door of possibility. I like that analogy. Yeah, for sure. I think I remember as a kid loving like ghost stories, just literally sort of ones that my parents would tell me, follow on by like Goosebumps books. Do you read Goosebumps?
Yes.
So that sort of thing, definitely. My mind is very open to discovering more. I'm certainly not stupid enough to say we've cracked it. We know everything there is to know about the subject. So, how about you?
No, mine's in a proper 360. I was like, I don't talk about ghosts, and now I'm like, no, but there is something. But why aren't there thousands of them?
Yeah, there are.
Like, no, there should be hundreds of thousands.
I think our current understanding of them is limited, but no doubt there's more.
Something.
There's more going on than we know, definitely.
Also, doesn't everybody have a story about ghosts? But they're always in weird places. They're never like, I was walking through Tesco's and I saw ghosts. It's always like, I was in my room alone and then, do you know what I mean? It's always a little bit weird.
The vast majority of sightings are in a domestic situation. No, yeah, I guess it's one of those things as well. You never see them with groups of people. 20 of you didn't see it all at the same time. It's usually
Wow, that's a good one, isn't
it's
it?
usually single people in the middle of the night or whatever like that. Yeah, it's never making a cup of tea at 10 in the morning, is it? It's
It's
always
so interesting, isn't it? A group of well, they do if they go on something, but
yeah. But
not just like you say, not just in Tesco's. Like no donut just flies around Tesco.
see
That's
that
so interesting.
it was such a fun experience.
But part of me is like, if we deny it, are they going
Yes.
to be like, oh, I'll show you I exist?
Yes.
I believe you.
I feel like we're creating a part 2 of this play now, which is in Tesco's and donuts. A whole new world
I'll
of
be in that.
experience. When the possibility of this play was put to you and you thought, could I appear in the West End, lead a very, very successful play, were you like, absolutely, I want to be part of it? Or were you aware of the fact it's become incredibly successful and like there's almost a legacy around it now? Were you like, oh my gosh, I've got to make sure this is the right thing for me? I guess, how did you approach it?
I was like, yeah, absolutely, 100%. No, I wanted to see it, and because the tickets had sold out, so when I read it, I was like, oh my God, it's so much more than I thought it was going to be. I love seeing things like magic go wrong, bank robbery. They're all just fun, and I wonder how you do it on stage. But I was so like, I need to do that. I need to scream, shout, be scared. I need to unpick all of this.
I played it way cooler.
Oh.
I was like on the phone just going, yes, going, I'll think about it. Let me just speak to my agents.
Yes, get in.
Yeah, obviously, I thought they were joking at first. I was like, really? Are you sure? I hope I didn't put them off. But yeah, it was a no-brainer for me. Obviously, I've been coming to the theatre since I was a nipper, and yeah, my mum was equally excited. Yes, hers was a little higher pitched than that. I'm like, yes! But yeah, she's very happy with it all.
In terms of audience reaction, I love the fact that with shows like this, there's that extra dimension. Of course, you get applause, you get laughter, but you also get screams and like unnervingness from an audience, which I can imagine as actors is something you probably don't experience all that much outside of this piece. But when you come here, does it feel like an extra dimension of like, oh no, they're really getting into it, and also being quite vocal about it?
Yeah, it needs it, doesn't it, the play? Like,
Yes.
you need some of that back. But also, I didn't know what the reactions were going to be, so we get notes, and a lot of the notes are, wait until they stop laughing, wait until they stop screaming. I was like, oh, we've got to ride those emotions. But actually, they really help feed what you're doing.
Yeah, definitely.
And there's places that I didn't think were going to be funny, that people laugh at, and it just,
Yeah.
I don't know, it definitely helps your performance. Like you say, I've never had instant reaction from work that I've done. But this play, it really helps when people are screaming and laughing.
Yeah, it's quite terrifying. And when have you ever screamed or had a jump and laughed within the same minute? It's amazing how the show can go back and forth between something genuinely quite sitting on the edge of your seat to then have humour straight afterwards. I love it. I think it's really funny. And it also bands the audience together. it's a bit like going to see a comedy concert. Like you all, because you're laughing together, it sort of brings you as one. If you're screaming together, it really brings you together quickly, because it's a pretty vulnerable place to be.
Slash embarrassing.
Yeah, exactly.
You hear them after, don't
Sorry.
you? Laughing like at themselves.
Yeah. I didn't jump, you did.
Obviously, it's a script, but you have to, I guess, as an actor, really throw yourself into it and believe and sort of live in that experience. So, has so far in the few performances you've done, has it sort of caught you off guard? Has it sort of made you jump or think, oh gosh, I sort of really believed it, even though I know what's going to happen?
No, but I do get swept away with a seance. Like the atmosphere, and I didn't realise as well it was going to be in the dark, and it was just lit by candles.
Yeah.
I didn't realise that, so when we've got in the theatre, I do get carried away with it. I do find it quite emotional and stuff. Obviously, I know what's happening, but I am really like, Frank, part of that's me. What if one day it just moved on the wrong bit?
Well, it goes the opposite way,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I wouldn't put it past him. Yeah, it does help. We've got an amazing team around us that there are so many different factors that sort of play into it with music and lighting and visual effects, so to speak. So it's it's a lot of fun when it all comes together.
Yeah, it definitely gets you. Even from that, I was like, oh god, I feel slightly unknown.
Yeah.
It sort of plays with the possibility of, I think, of the unknown. If you're like, oh okay, I wonder what's going to possibly happen.
It sort of makes you question what you think, but not one way or the other. Like then you go, well, could there be? And then you get into the quiz, and then you're like, oh, actually, you just sort of have an answer for everything.
Yeah, also it's a fun way of probing the question, do you believe in it or not? It doesn't have to be black or white. It can be some sort of grey area where we don't really know, but it's a fun topic, I think, in the right environment.
I know there's a line I think about scrolling the feed of death. I know they reference social media, but if you look at social media, the reactions to people, it's interesting how everyone has a different reaction to it. And like
Yeah.
with theory, and that's sort of the best part of theatre really, is that it connects to almost everybody in a completely different way, and that's the success of the piece.
Yeah, and potentially, like I said, makes people question. Because I thought I was just like, yeah, I believe in ghosts. I'm not talking about them, and now I'm like, I don't know. I do believe in something now. But I don't know. So it makes you sit there and question what you've always thought, whilst being entertaining.
Definitely. Tom, did you imagine there'd be a world where you would be live in the West End at the same time that Joker Malfoy would also be in the West End?
I didn't think about that one. No, never in a million years. We passed it on the way to work, of course, yeah. No, that's mental. I would never have a million years have thought that if you told me that 20 odd years ago when we started making the films, but I'm all for it.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like a world within a world within a world. It feels like all sort of together.
What's next?
Yeah. What is next? That's always the beauty. And in terms of how you would describe the show, I think one thing that's amazing is the visuals of the show, I think, give you an idea as to what to expect. But being at the heart of it, how would you describe it to someone that sees those amazing tube posters and thinks, I wonder what happens in that show?
Well, it's a dinner party, really. It's a dinner party between four friends or two friends, and really sort of this overwhelming question going up about, do ghosts exist? And my lovely wife here being utterly convinced that there is something in this house. And the further we go down our separate opinions, the weirder it gets. That's about as much as I can say, I think.
Yeah. Unnerving, thrilling, and funny.
Yes.
And I don't think you'd get that looking at the poster.
No, I've never been in a theatre again where you've had such people laughing and then so quickly, you'd hear the drop of a pin. It's pretty unique, I think.
And is it hard to not spoil it? Is it really hard to talk about it and not be like, oh god, I don't want to tell you something?
No.
Not really, no.
I think you know, don't you, going to ruin it otherwise.
Yeah, I also don't think that's really the best bit or the big bit of the whole play. I think it's how we get there, really, and just how people leave is nothing really to do with necessarily a big one twist. I think it's how we get there that makes it kind of interesting and fun, hopefully.
Definitely. Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Cheers, mate.